It was his first start. There is a safety car again. He's sharing a car with Patrick Pilet and Nick Tandy, who of course won the race overall last year in one of the Porsche prototype cars. But it's all gone wrong for that team. We saw the number 92 car, Fred Makoviecki, make a brilliant start early on. There's somebody else having problems as well.
He charged that quite hard.
It's one of the LMP2 cars.
That's the Ligier.
The 25. That's Andrea Pizzitola. That's his birth
car.
It is Chris Hoy's car. That car is Andrea Pizzitola, whose birthday it is today. So that's not the way to celebrate your birthday.
Yeah, it's not, is it?
Isn't it funny doing the overnight session? Suddenly things start to happen.
I know. I told you that, it was always dull and you don't want to come and think like this and just leave me because I love it. That's one of the reasons I don't know why it is. I've been coming to Le Mans for more years than I want to remember. And I love the night session more than I love anything else that I do in motor racing or in motor racing. I still look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. It's the overnight hours, the early night hours are really good fun. We're going to take another break here on Eurosport and continue the action in just a few moments.
Race with a very wet track, and we've had two further incidents for clear-up operations. This most recent in the most challenging part of the track for all cars, which is in the Porsche curves, and ironically it was one of the factory GT Porsches that has lost its load, dumped its engine oil. 91 car is at the side of the track smoking heavily, and judging by the mess in the Porsche curves isn't going any further. Chris Parsons, it's Porsche's year, is it? I mean, now they're going to have to start looking at the AM class as the only way, realistically, I think, looking to win, unless they do catch a bit of a fortunate break.
Unless that number 2 can somehow find a way into the Toyotas, but it looks unlikely as the Toyotas have a problem, doesn't it?
Well, we had number 7 Audi early on with a turbocharger failure. They said, no, it's definitely not going to happen to the number 8 car because these things don't strike twice. We've had the number 1 Porsche drop down almost out of top 50 with an issue. These cars are identical. They're built in pairs.
Yes. Is that a rogue water pump? We'll wait and see. And also, we know that they've had problems with their batteries.
Yep.
All right, they've gone back to the last year's specification, but last year they were very reliable. So we see it's all go for. But as you say, Porsche not having a good year right now.
If there's only two of you and one of you fallen off.
Engine off. Engine off. It's over. Just place the car in a safe place. It's over. Sorry.
And you see the small fire there in the engine bay, hot oil spewing out of a line onto hot exhaust, and you heard the engineer just saying, bin it, forget it, it's blown. It's blown fairly comprehensively well, a little flash fire there as well, but not before it had laid oil all the way through the Porsche curves. And Jeremy, sure, there's no option there but to safety car that. That is so dangerous. You hit that at 160 miles an hour in a prototype, you're hitting everything else in the county.
Yeah, and I think the race officials there did a really good job to get the safety car out as soon as they possibly could. And I mean, certainly the safety car was out before we had any indication, we had any sort of a picture at all to suggest anything was wrong out there in the Porsche curves. And yeah, if there's one place you don't want oil on any racetrack anywhere, particularly not here, going into the Porsche curves at night.
It's the only thing that could be worse would be if it was raining as well.
Yes. Just to add insult to injury.
So that looks like a Ferrari team that can do a full service there. They've got a lot of equipment out on the track, on pit road.
The only slight problem with stopping now is that you give up track position and you'll drop into a separate safety car queue. There are three safety cars going around. One exits the pit exit, one comes on at the first chicane on the Mulsanne straight, the other one comes on at Arnage, and they split the field up and they try and go at an even pace so you don't lose or gain too much. It's a brief safety car. You really can lose out if you get stuck 2 or 3 safety car queues further back than your rivals. However, this ain't going to be a brief safety car. This could well be out for 20 minutes to get stuff down to clear up that oil, because that Porsche was pumping oil out all the way through the Porsche curves. Looking down here at one of a number of cars that are in for work.
They're replacing the number.
Well, there's
panel.
also work going on underneath the floor. These number panels are really vital to allow race control to keep an eye on what's going on. In the pits is our class leader in the LMP2 class. No lights on the side of it illuminated. So in fact, it came in as class leader, but as it's got to line, it's dropped down out of the top 3.
Maybe
What has? No, so it's still
lights
leading.
illuminated on the side. Should have one light on the side. Hasn't got any lights up on the side.
It'll be resuming behind the next safety car, and that will probably put it into, I believe, second place behind René Rast in car number 26, because we'll have to wait there at the end of the pit lane until the next safety car comes past, and then once all the other cars have gone by behind that, then these cars will be released.
Jeremy, you and I know that the safety car rules in sports car racing are so complicated, especially at Le Mans, which is such a long circuit, and we have 3 safety cars to try and equalize things out.
No, it doesn't equalize anything. It just means, I don't know, I'm still not 100% sure why they do it. It's a pet peeve of mine, certainly, particularly now where we have the Code 60 system in place, and I don't see why the cars can't go around and catch up to the back of the field and just have one safety car, because
then somebody gains a lap.
Don't gain a lap.
Yeah, they do. If the safety car comes out just after you've shot by the pit exit and picks up the car who's right behind you by even a couple of seconds, and you're allowed to charge on and join the back of the safety car queue, you pick up pretty much a lap.
Tires are getting freezing cold. It's going to be very hard to start. If it lasts quite longer, I think we should stop and fit the tires as a result. If it lasts 6 laps. Yes, it's a tube behind you. It's a tube behind you. We are racing them. Yes, we are racing them.
So, you know, again, there's an issue. You've got Sebastian Buemi on the radio saying the tyre temperature have gone, you know, his tyres now are basically mahogany. They're giving him so little grip, and he's now got Romain Dumas, the very next car in the queue behind him. He wants to come in for tyres, and the team is saying, we really don't think that's a great idea, because you're surrendering track position and you're in second place. But these things are going to yo-yo up and down. These gaps will yo-yo up and down. The chances are this isn't the last safety car. You might get it back. You might not.
Yeah, but to come in just for tyres out of sync is sacrificing quite a lot.
You're sacrificing more if you have to restart and there's no tyre temperature, because he's going to have to go hard at it and will likely go off.
But presumably it'll be the same for the Porsche, because he must be having the same problems.
Different car.
Yes.
Maybe on a softer nighttime compound, we don't know, but we'll have to see exactly what transpires from that. Long queue waiting to rejoin the track. To take a quick pause. Safety car remains out of Le Mans as the cars come through the Porsche curves, where we have a big oil slick after the factory GTE Pro Class Porsche has dropped its guts. The 91 car, which had Kevin Escher at the helm, we saw in replay with the radio message from the team going, turn it off, park it somewhere safe, it's over.
55, we still 565, speed 2, we still pretty well. Selby P2, Dumas P3, Duval P4, but 8 laps behind. Okay, copy. Duval me in close together in the next safety car queue.
Well, they slightly miscalculated that. Right. Dumas is 2 laps behind, not 8 laps behind. Number 7, Audi, is 8 laps behind. But it wasn't the car to which he was referring. Dumas is 2 laps behind in the number 8 Audi. So that was the message to Mike Conway, the race leader, number 6 Toyota. His teammate Sebastian Buemi is 2.5 minutes behind, and Romain Dumas is 2.5 minutes behind. They are in the next safety car queue back, below or behind which he would drop were he to come in for tyres now. And Jeremy Shaw, they eschewed coming in behind the previous safety car because it didn't fit their fuel economy plan, and I would imagine they will, when they get to 14 lap, they will come in fuel, or possibly 15 lap, because behind the safety car they'll be able to sip it parsimoniously for maybe, I don't know, maybe they might be able to go a 16th lap, but they are sticking to the plan, aren't they? No matter what distractions are thrown at them. Come on, come to me, come into my pit lane. No, I don't think we'll bother, thank you.
No, that's right. And when the last safety car was out, which was only an hour or so ago, in actual fact, we did see Sarthe bring that car. As soon as we went back to green, he brought the car onto pit lane for service and a driver change, and that was pretty much right on schedule. And because of the fact that the car was, the tyres would have been cold, it was a pretty good idea to come in then rather than doing. They could have done one more lap, but I think it was a good idea to come in then, get fresh tyres, hot tyres, get out there, and as soon as he could get on the racetrack, he was running fast.
Been suggested that now would be a very good time GT teams to bring their car in for a brake change, and we saw the 68 Ford with the front engine cover off, or bonnet off. It's not an engine cover because the engine's at the back, and of course you would need to take that off to access the brake fluid reservoir to make sure that you topped it up if needed, when you were bleeding the brakes if needed. So it may well be that 68 has come in for a brake change. In the GT Pro class, the number 82 Rizzi Competizione car is still the lead Ferrari. That's Tony Vilander. He leads the field. Richard Westbrook's second in the 69 Ford, and in 68 the pole position sitting car that lies in third place, which currently has Dirk Muller at wheel. If that's come in for a brake change, then chances are everybody else will as well. Now, of course, what you want to do is lose as few safety car queues as possible, but can't imagine that it's going to be just one. You might drop back two safety cars. You might even drop an entire lap doing a brake change. Depends on how proficient and how easily and serviceable your car's been engineered to
I know that during qualifying, Corvette were practicing doing brake changes, and they were able to change up the pads, the calipers and the discs in under a minute.
Wow.
So they're obviously expecting to have to do it, and they built the car to be able to do it very, very quickly.
So apparently you can get better than the quick fit fitter.
Yeah, I think the number 68 car, I'd be surprised if it's exactly what they, if they didn't do exactly that on its last pit stop. It's taken them 3 minutes to get that car back out on track. Number 68 car, still running in the third place in the class. It might, has it lost a lap compared to the others? No, I don't think it has. It is going to be behind an extra safety car, so it's going to be two safety cars behind, but it is still on a lead lap with, we presume, brake pad change done.
Yes, and no disc change done, rather than just pads. You'll change the entire lot of match set, won't you?
As they rotors, but it's mechanism.
But as we're not even halfway yet, they may have to do it again.
No, I think they'll probably be able to switch it from here, more than likely. I mean, they're only going to do the change now because under safety car. They're good to go for probably, well,
2/3 distance probably before they start.
Yeah, hopefully 13 hours and 45.
Well, of course, the other thing now is we are in the coolest part of the night now for the next 4, 5, 6 hours, and so that means that there will be more cooling effect on the brakes, so they will stand a slightly better chance of surviving than perhaps they might do during the heat of the day, as that comes later on. But yeah, if they're changing them now, they're obviously fairly much convinced that they will go all the way through. In safety car queue with the number 2 Porsche, that is the car that lies in third place. And just in front you can see the number 5 Toyota, second place car Sebastian Buemi, and the Porsche is 2 cars behind in the safety car queue. There is one hybrid, one LMP2 car in between, and that is one of the 2 BR01 LMP2 cars, the SMP racing cars. So whether it's 27 or 37, a little hard to tell at that distance. Teams will be able to tell you, because you can see that the sort of assortment of different light patterns on the front of the cars. A lot of the cars will have an extra light. You'll see some GT cars with lights down the windows, around the edge, or in the case of the Fords, straight down the centre windshield. And various other cars have illuminated headlights or whatever.
We are thinking about the FIFA. We're not in the window to pit yet. We're not in the window to pit yet. We don't know how our safety car will last on the track. We're looking for options. Yeah, I just before to get ready, the safety car is low. At some point, maybe we have to refuel and put new tires, because it's going to be hard to restart them properly.
Yeah, and that was Sebastian Buemi again, once again confirmed with the team. This car has now completed 158 laps. Buemi was last on pit lane on 150 laps, so they're still just more than halfway through a fuel stint. We'll be right back.
Звучит как спорткар. Дарит чувство спорткара. Маневренный, как спорткар. И герб на нем свидетельство спорткара. Porsche Macan. Для тех, кто верит, что каждый автомобиль Porsche – это спорткар.
Welcome back to Le Mans with 13 and a half hours still to go. Safety car remains out for clear-up operations from a big engine blow-up in the Porsche curves. And just hearing drivers on the radio during the break complaining about low tyre temperature. Originally we had the Porsche drivers on, the Audi and Toyota drivers all now on, saying that their tyre temperatures have gone away. Jeremy Shaw. That's going to continue basically until they are released from behind these safety cars, because there is no quick running anywhere on the circuit.
No, because these cars are running in low drag, low downforce configuration here at Le Mans, it does make it even more difficult, particularly when it's cold, very cool like it is right now, to build that temperature back into the tyres. And until those tyres do build up that temperature and the pressures within them, then it can make things very, very difficult for the drivers. It's very, very easy to make a mistake.
Now, we talked about brake changes. Beechstein have just changed the brakes on the 99 AM car. So Liam Griffin has been sent out, according to Aston Martin. And Ford did do calipers as well. Some teams in the GT classes will change calipers as well as pads. Some will just change pads. And if they had needed 2 brake changes to get through, they would already have made their first one before the halfway mark. That's the reason. It would be 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So lots and lots of dust at the Porsche curbs from the cars going through that quick dry to try and soak up the oil from the 91 Porsche. But definitely no reports of rain so far. Originally it was supposed to be fairly wet, miserable and fun all the way through the race, and that has gradually improved the forecast. Still not entirely sure that we can guarantee it won't get damp at any stage, but certainly yesterday before we got into the race, the forecast was for a dry Sunday. Safety car will come in this lap.
Okay, so Mike Conway is one safety car ahead of the rest of the contenders, that being Sebastian Buemi and Romain Dumas, and they've just got a couple of slower cars between them. In LMP2, we've now got 3 cars behind the same safety car. That would be number 26 car, Renault Rast, that leads the way at the moment. That is for G-Drive Racing, and behind him is Matthias Besch in car number 46 for TDS, and in third place Gustavo Menezes in the Signatec Alpine, also in Orca Chassis. So Orca Chassis are 1, 2, 3, and those 3 cars are not nose to tail, but there's only relatively few seconds between them. In GTE Pro, Tovi Lander, the full safety car ahead of Richard Westbrook, and the third place car in the class is Dirk Mueller. He is one more safety car further back as well. So the three leaders in GTE Pro have been very much split up by this safety car period. In GTE Am, David Heinemeyer Hansen leading number 88. That's the Abu Dhabi Proton Porsche, and Bill Sweedler in the Ferrari in one safety car back, about 2 minutes back in second place. And then Rob Bell now has moved up to third place in the class car number 61, 1 lap behind as Martin.
We go green. So the safety car pulls off in the pit lane, safety car pulls off at the chicane, safety car pulls off at Arnage, and they try and synchronise all those together. Eduardo Freitas is trying to make sure they are all in the right position so that nobody loses unnecessarily, with one set of safety car queue in green and the others still in yellow formation. So the full circuit is green once more. And for the man who leads, Mike Conway, nobody immediately in his safety car queue to put him under pressure, which is why our race director has gone straight back to the battle for second, because as we ride with Romain Dumas, that is Sebastian Buemi, and that is the pass for second place. Dumas had low tyre temperature woes, but Buemi was complaining about it several laps behind the safety car earlier, and as a result, it looks like the Porsche had a little bit more grip to go with.
Didn't it? We saw that after the previous safety car as well. The Porsche was really on the case right away when we went back to green, and the Toyota's struggling a little bit, at least in comparison. Number 26 car, by the way. Number 26 car, the leader in LMP2
came in.
Yep.
So did Scott Sharp and Oz Negri. Those cars have both come in from the P2 class. So too Alexander Imperatorai in the number 13, the sole remaining healthy Rebellion. Nico Prost just left the pits in the number 12 car, which down in 34th position. The big change there on the leaderboard, Porsche up to second place with their remaining healthy car, the number 2 machine, Romain Dumas, jumping Sebastian Buemi at the restart. Buemi, of course, one of a number of Formula E drivers in the field. I'd forgotten about him because I was talking about Sam Bird there earlier on. No blow up there from number 2 car, don't worry. And that just going through the cement dust that is down to clear up from a blow up in the number 91 GT class Porsche.
There are going to be some very dirty windscreens, aren't they, with all that cement dust flying around.
And rather more importantly, some very dirty illuminated light panels, which won't be quite as illuminated as they should be. Lots of cars were requested to bring their cars in to clean those off, because, of course, we started in the rain. Heavy rain, heavy braking means lots of brake dust caked down the side of the car. The teams are always very careful to clean the windscreen and to clean the front headlights, but nobody really paid attention to the side illuminated panels until it got dark, and then that was a very wide line, and then the race director pointed out that in fact they couldn't tell who half the cars were, and would they mind cleaning the sides also. So Buemi is pushing hard, isn't he? And I think he slightly didn't have quite the grip he wanted there as he got to the lock curve. Down through the S's, LMP2 car in front. He is closing, but not fast, and going flashy-flash. And that is the number 30 Extreme Speed Motorsport car. That's the Scott Sharp car that's on an outlap. We just saw him coming in. So that car is in 21st place. By the way, the leader in LMP2, 7th overall at the moment. When we were saying, not entirely tongue-in-cheek, that it might not be impossible to get a Rebellion on the outright podium. It's not entirely impossible. We might not in an LMP2 car in the outright podium. We've still got 13.5 hours to go. We've had an awful lot of trials and tribulations so far.
Yeah, the Rebellion's car number 13. That's the non-hybrid LMP1 car. He's running in 5th place. But the number 7, Marcel Fessler, was delayed very much, well, with 2 delays during this race. He is now back on the lead lap and less than 1 minute behind.
We can take a quick commercial break as the number 8 Audi comes down pit road, pitting from 4th position. We'll be back with more live coverage in a second. Welcome back to Le Mans, 13 and a half hours and counting to go in the world's greatest motor race. And it's being suggested that the marker of doom needs to be wielded for a second time over the number 47 KCMG car. Well, luckily we don't have any Tipex of redemption here, so we couldn't unmarker of doom it, and it appears to be retired for a second time. But we're not going for that. Fool us once, shame on you. Fool us twice, shame on us. So we're not having that. We do, however, we believe, have a second retirement, and that is number 91 Porsche. And so the marker of doom is going to be wielded over the Porsche of Patrick Pilet, Kevin Estre and Nick Tandy. Last year's race winner is out, and Jerry Shaw is also pointing to the 89 car, Cooper McNeil, Lee Keane and Mark Miller. That retired early on with a big crash, from which it isn't coming back. I don't care how lazarine the repair work has been. So 47 may or may not be out. That remains to be officially confirmed. We don't actually get bits of paper shoved through the back of the door anymore that says, gives us a list of abandon, so we kind of have to go ourselves. Thomas Smith is not going to get his engineering project written if he continues to watch the telly. Don't watch the telly, just listen. That works well, doesn't it?
Some controversy at the moment. We're trying to work out whether the rumour of the 9 o'clock rule actually exists, and that is that by the time that 9 o'clock in the morning comes, you have to have completed, I believe it's 50% of the distance covered by the leading car. So if somebody
7.5 hours now. I wouldn't worry about that near.
Yeah, but all the same, people who don't have to watch the screen, otherwise people complain that you're not watching the screen, go and have a look in the rules.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind and help us out, that'd be great, because we'd just love to have that clarified, quite frankly. And Martin's craving sweets, and he's rejected a Réglisse Mentos, which is only available in France. He can't bring himself to chew on any.
That is not a sweet.
Réglisse being licorice Mentos, only available in France. Absolutely delicious, even though Martin's getting sniffy about it.
Can you imagine why they're only available in France? Meanwhile, everybody else is asleep.
In LMP2, we've got two different new leaders, actually. First of all, we had Matthias Besch back in the P2. That was after René Rast made a pit stop in car number 26. Well, Matthias Besch had just brought that number 46 TDS Thierry Oreca Nissan onto the pit lane. So that's Gustavo Menezes, the young Californian, into the lead in the Signatec Alpine car number 36.
And here he is on your screen, 21 years old, Angoleño, Gustavo Menezes, and he was in third place before the two cars in front of him stopped. And you can see that's not LED, is it? That's OLED, the screen in the centre there, and it sort of vibrates a little bit in the camera. I think it probably doesn't vibrate to the driver's eye view. Jake Dennis up to fourth place. The two Jota Sport cars are going very strongly indeed. Jake Dennis up to fourth, and the other one has now slipped down the order a fraction. Johnny Kane is in sixth. The BR01 of Kirill Ladigin is up to fifth position now, and Ho Pintung is sixth in the second of the Alpine.
Yeah, both of the BR01 cars, the Russian-built cars, really running well. As you say, there, Kirill Ladigin in the fifth position, and Nicola Nastian just 3 places further back, and just another couple of laps further back in the order as well.
Yeah, and Nick Minassian should be able to try and close a little bit on the car front. Ho Pintung 3 minutes behind Johnny Kane in a battle for sixth position, I think I said it was. But the lead battle is very close. René Rast, who was the lead before his pit stop, 33 seconds behind Gustavo Menezes, and another 16 behind him, Matthias Besch. So that's the de facto battle for the lead, because when Menezes pits, as he must, then he will drop back down to third position. Speaking of which, of course, after we jumped away from the safety car, we still had Mike Conway in the lead. He now leads by a minute from Romain Dumas, who was third in the safety car, and jumped ahead of Sebastian Buemi, who is now just 7 seconds behind him. The Porsche seemed to bring its tyres in much more quickly, either on the last lap behind the safety car or immediately after the safety car, and got in front of the Toyota. But Jeremy, how much of an overlap now is there in pit calls between the Toyotas and the Porsches?
Well, the Porsches are still only doing 13 laps on a stint. The Toyota is still doing 14, so that's just extending the kind of gap between those two. But the next car we're expecting onto pit lane will be the number 5 car, and that will be probably in 3, possibly 4 laps. And we heard Sebastian Buemi basically pleading with his team to allow him to come onto pit lane during that safety car period, because he knew the tyres were cold. He knew he was going to have difficult. As the number 71 car pulled off to the side of the road. That
is the car that Sam Bird's passed the team of, and that's the Ferrari in the GT Pro class that's had all the issues, isn't it? Davide Rigon and Andrea Bertolini sharing it, and they're not even. Oh, they are. It's Davide Rigon who's gone off 29th place overall, 30th place overall. Make that.
Both of the, of course, GTE Pro cars, the 51 and the number 71, both had a lot of problems in this race, a long way down the order, and the Ferrari honour very much being upheld now by Risi Competizione, because Tony Vilander leads in that class, and he's got a pretty handy margin now over Richard Westbrook in the number 69 Ford GT.
Well, Davide Rigon appears to park that about as deeply in the muck as you did with our hire car earlier, Jeremy. So he's got out to have a look as well. He's not going to find either a bit of a push or any helpful strips of firm standing to get onto, so he will need a tow out from there. There's marshals, as you can see, just at the bottom of your screen. Those are all the marshals from wherever they've come, France, England, across Europe, Germany. Lots of German marshals come here as well, America, Australia, New Zealand, keeping the drivers and everybody else safe. But that will need a tow, and I'm not quite sure why I haven't got a slow zone yet, because that is going to need a snatch vehicle to get in there, and we will then have a slow zone down the S's.
Some pretty quick times being thrown in just before that incident. Dennis in the Gibson 38 car in LMP2 just posted a 340, 274. That was his last lap before the slow area has been declared. Some of the performances that have been produced throughout the field, sort of standout performances that perhaps those who've taken an extra leap ahead of where they were expecting to be. But for me, the way the Fords have actually performed here, I know they had a huge advantage. I thought maybe once they were hobbled it might be an issue, and certainly that maybe technically they didn't just have the longevity, but they're proving us, well, me in particular, completely wrong. Westbrook looking very, very handy indeed, running second in class. Third class is Muller. Vilander still leading the pros. Welcome back. A slow zone remains because of a Ferrari in the gravel, and questions amongst ourselves as to whether Dirk Muller's fastest lap for the class 3:52.4, and indeed the Ford Pro. Now, welcome back as a family. We've been asking ourselves some questions, notably whether Dirk Muller's time will actually stand and whether he's going to find himself on the naughty step. 3:52.4 he set just before we went to the break. We were saying how impressed we were with the way the Fords are running. Clearly at the cutting edge of their own little development curve, and still running very well. But too clean sanction, you think, maybe in the offing here, Mark?
Yes, he's not only set the fastest race lap for his car, he did it by setting the fastest first sector time, and I'd be amazed if he managed to get away before yellow flags came out for Davide Rigon parking his Ferrari in the gravel. If he did, then he's a lucky boy. If he didn't, then he's going to end up with a penalty of some kind. Now we have not only the Ferrari but also a Tratter taking it out of the gravel, as that's why everybody's going through here at 80 kilometers an hour. That's the slow zone. Just saw David Hannemeyer Hansen coming out of the pit lane in the number 88 Porsche, Jerome, make a note, which is still in the lead of the GTE AM class, not least because Bill Sweedler stopped behind him. Also the 82 car, Sweedler, Townsend Bell and Jeff Segal performing a driver change, so that is the number 62 car, second in the AM class. Third in the AM class is Rob Bell, no relation to Townsend Bell, but related to Matt Bell, brother of, and he lies in third place in the number 61 Ferrari, which is the Singapore entry. Jeremy presses the button.
Yes, but not the Matt Bell races in the sports car series in the US.
In the US, no, the Matt Bell races in the sports car series in the UK.
Yes.
So they are
two different Matt Bells.
Yeah,
yes.
they're both Geordies, and none of the other Bells are related to them. Some other Bells are. Oh dear.
Because the California Matt Bell just really makes things complicated.
I think we need to reverse out of this blind alley. Yes.
But I think it'll be yeah, it is Townsend, who takes over the wheel of that car after a pretty good stint there by Bill Sweedley. He's kept that car in second place. And Dana Heinemann Hansen is already out on the racetrack after making his stop as well.
It's Taco Bell as well, of course. Keeping it food. Jules Radio says, does the licorice Mentos work with Coke bottle in the same way as the mint ones? No idea, but we'll probably find out tomorrow.
We won't, because we haven't got any Coke either.
Oh, you know,
it's a shopping fail. But luckily, we're in France, so the supermarkets will open at about 9 o'clock on Monday morning. We'll be able to eat again.
I went for a forlorn walk looking for snap, as they say in York, and got absolutely nothing. Yeah. Everything had closed, nothing hot available, and £5 English pounds for a ham sandwich.
Yeah, well, it's better than nothing in a nose bag free zone like the hospitality units. There is nothing in hostility. I'm trying to make it 24 hours without any sleep, says Kieran Page. Well, you and the rest of us. Tom Smith wants to know how many marshals does it take to run Le Mans? Without being facetious, a hell of a lot. I don't have any idea what the total number is, but bearing in mind, I mean, look at the marshals post there. There are 4 of them there, and there'll probably be 3 shifts. A lot.
I thought that was like a light bulb joke, and we're waiting for the punchline.
No. I mean, a huge number of marshals.
Well, thank heaven they're here, because we couldn't run it without them, and it's the same for motorsport generally. A great deal of volunteers. Everyone thinks about high income and huge monies, prize money, etc. But no, it's the marshals, it's the workaday people that keep this sport where it needs to be.
Number 5 Toyota in from 3rd place on its own, Jeremy Shaw. Does that mean that Mike Conway has managed to squeeze out another lap? Has he rung that juice, or is the Toyota in after 13?
It has been, since number 5 car was in, it's been 15 laps because we had that safety car period.
Okay, so Conway is the leader. He's going to go
laps.
at least 16. because he's already gone by.
Yeah, no, he'll do 2 more laps. There were 2 laps apart on the
they were
last
staggered.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mike Conway remains the leader of the race. Sebastian Buemi comes back out in 3rd place. Slow zone here to protect the marshals, the workers, and also the drivers, of course, because there is a very large, square, very solid foreign object in the gravel trap, into which Davide Rigon's Ferrari has proved it's very easy to stray. So coming down into the S's, until that rescue work is completed, the slow zone will remain. It will remain until 1:47 and 15 seconds. That's not the time at the top of the screen. It's not 1 in the afternoon and 12 minutes. That's time remaining. It's currently 1:47 and 10, 12, 13, 14, green. There you go.
Some of the runoff zones here are really quite extensive. They've actually been installed for the motorcyclists, which also grace this track. You can see the pickup in pace once they actually get unleashed from the slow zone, which still is there. Next slow zone removed at zone 2, but 3, 4, 5 are still in place. Yeah, safety first, particularly for the motorcyclists, it seems. They give them more space within which to finish their role, essentially.
And of course, the opening part of the circuit from the beginning of the pit lane all the way down to Tertre, almost all the way down to Tertre Rouge, is part of the Bugatti circuit, which is the permanent racetrack here, on which our cars are parked in a runoff area. Thanks to Jeremy. So that is now part of the TV compound and parking and everything else, but that, all the low curbs, particularly there in the S's, when they wanted to get the French Grand Prix here for MotoGP, they had to change the old S's into these new sweeping S's that we've got, much lower curbs, and actually it's made it quite an entertaining part of the racetrack for race car drivers as well as for motorcycle races. Around 1,800 marshals, says Peter Hayes, and I don't even remotely question that. That's 1,800 people coming out of their own free will for free, for nothing, to come and marshal here. Able-bodied and also not so able-bodied marshals. So hello to Steve Tarrant, who is down in the pit lane, having worked for many years out on the circuit. He's now a pit lane marshal. He's got promoted, and he's down there along with a whole bunch of guys and girls from all over the world. And marshals, like fans, come from all over the world to be here.
Scouts, we've got plenty of those as well, who are, some of whom are more experienced than others, but generally speaking, they're always extremely polite and very, very good-natured, despite the fact that they're dealing with some quite grumpy people, especially when there was plenty of rain about earlier on. It's getting busy out there again.
Audi team race Marcel Fassler, you have a front left puncture, box this lap, and he has done exactly as they have asked him. So in he comes, Marcel Fassler in the number 7 Audi, in with a deflating tyre. So this is the car that had the turbo change, then went out after having other work done and immediately went off and ripped the floor off. He's picked up a slow puncture, and they will change the tyre once they have fueled, cleaned, filled the oil, taken off a tear-off strip, yada, 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 full service. I love the way the mechanics just walk up the nose of the car. Imagine if they did that in your local garage to clean the windscreen. They would be all hell on.
That little snooze part, well, just above the front wheel, where the vent is. I've seen them manhandling the car and taking back in on the dollies into the garage using that. It's got quite, excuse me, an amazing amount of strength to it.
Well, Carlton dives quietly off there. The number 7 car is back on its way again, and there's a reason that they know that it's got puncture, not because they saw a tyre flailing around all over the place, because when it came in, clearly it had air in and was all in one piece, but these cars have tyre temperature and tyre pressure monitoring sensor systems, because when you are doing 160 to 200 miles an hour, a tyre failure tends to be a very major issue, and as a result, any slight drop in pressure and therefore hike in temperature is immediately monitored and reported back to the pits, and it sets off all sorts of alarm bells.
Very true, and that was a relatively quick stop there by number 7 car, because it's certainly way off our schedule, because that car shouldn't have been on pit lane for another 5 or 6 laps. laps, so they probably need a little bit more than half a tank of fuel, and they changed the tyres. Marcel Fassler on his way again, but once again he just about caught up to the tail of the number 13 car. Been tracking that down, trying to wrest away at 5th position again. Still now 9 laps or 8 or 9 laps behind the overall leader, but every time the number 7 car gets close to number 13 car, has some sort of a little glitch again. This time a puncture on that number 7 car.
Leaders in. This is Conley just bringing the Toyota to its marks absolutely impeccably. Dumas was a lap behind. I'm just wondering how far. Can't see what the gap is just at the moment on our timing screens, but whether he'll lap himself quickly away. Not much of a change there, just almost a smash and then back to action. Just waiting to see if there's a change in the lead by the time he gets to the end of pit row here. Buemi running in 3rd place. Great battle this between Toyota and Porsche, and Audi playing their part as well. Fassler, who had to return a few moments ago, he's back on his outlap, and in fact had got himself within 8 laps. It's 9 now, so dropped another one after a big fight back. They'd been way off the timing boards essentially. They were plumb last at one point, but have wrestled their way back to 6th place, and that's a real I guess underscoring of what's achievable if you just keep your head down, Neville, and get on with it.
Yeah, I think Conway actually has retained his lead, but it's funny, we were talking about this question of tyres. It was the British driver Wyn Percy who had a tyre go on the Mulsanne, and in fact he hadn't noticed that the light came on, I don't think, at the time. But even with cars nowadays, you do get this. Quite a lot of, shall we say, certain cars that will go quite quickly, you'll get a warning that you've got a soft tyre, and it's damn annoying, but it's very nice to know.
Outlap for Conway, and the Dumas is closing in the Porsche at 10 seconds, 9 now in the 9s. This is going to be fascinating. Couldn't see, I don't think they actually made a tyre change, so Conway wouldn't have lost much heat from the tyres. He's not getting them up to heat at the moment, but it's 7 seconds now. A real closing here, Jeremy. We've got a proper battle for the lead.
Yes, I don't think it's real, because I think he will actually go. If he was going to change tyres, he would have changed tyres. He didn't need to, so he will go off now. And theoretically, I think it should open now again. If he doesn't, then I think we've got cause to be worried.
Yeah, in the middle of a triple stint here is Mike Conway in that car number 6, so just scheduled in for fuel only, rejoins the race up to 1 minute and 8 seconds stop. It's remarkable how consistent the pit stops are. If they're just changing tyres, it's 1 minute 8 or 1 minute 9. I mean, just about every stop that car has made, in fact, every stop that a car has made for fuel or tyre, for fuel only, has been 1 minute 08 or 1 minute 09.
Yeah,
that's
if
incredible.
it's about another 20 seconds, something like that.
Yeah, correct.
Yep.
Just looking at the pace, and it's now holding at just 7.6 seconds, but the advantage absolutely smashed. But Conway is a master of handling that machine. Dumas failing to close any further just for timing, so both essentially comfortable and back up to speed. But when we're running in the number 5 Toyota is on the same lap, but it is a minute and 25 down on our leader. Laps in deficit. Duval in the 8 car is 2 laps down. Further 6 arrears is
not quite 2 laps down.
Reihammer, 1 3/4. In fact, yeah, he's now finding himself just a solid lap down. You're absolutely right, Jeremy. The Rebellion, though, in a great place at the moment, running in 5th place in the hands of Reihammer just for the time being, just ahead of Marcel Fassler, who is back out after yet more troubles. That car has had so much fortune, hasn't it?
Yeah, just niggly little thing. Yeah. Well, turbo failure as well, but that was not niggly, but who niggles after that? But that number 13 car Rebellion Racing really done a nice job this season. Been on the podium twice already this season. Actually only on the podium once, but they scored 3rd place points on 2 occasions. And the difference there being that in the first round, the Audi won on the road, but then was thrown out because of excessive wear on the plank underneath the car, effectively the ride height. Although it's much more complicated than that, but the car was did not pass post-race scrutineering, so he was excluded from the results, and that elevated the number 13 car into second place. Into third place, excuse me. So that car's running now second in points in the World Endurance Championship, and the car has run absolutely beautifully so far in this race.
It's well prepared, it's well driven, the drivers drive centrally. Again, we were talking a little bit about brakes a bit earlier on, and it is quite amazing the difference you'll come across with drivers. And if you've gone round with drivers, or you've been on a circuit with drivers, there are some people who are absolute animals with brakes, and there are some who they brake slightly earlier, but their braking isn't aggressive and the whole thing doesn't get out of balance, and it makes a tremendous difference, particularly in a long distance race like this. If you've got somebody who saves his brakes a little bit, it's not really saving them, it's just basically if you feed the brakes on properly, then it helps you. If you don't, then it's all run, it's horrible.
Yeah, and the braking systems, so they're so much more complicated these days now, with the hybrid system that's regenerating energy from the braking systems. The actual size of the brake itself is much smaller than a conventional brake that you would have on an LMP1 car, because of the electric motor that is harvesting the energy from the braking system of the car. It's incredibly complex these days.
Those not respecting the slow zone speed, and in fact we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars under investigation, and some of those reasonably high up the order. Nick Manassian's 27 car is one of those, incidentally. Easy to find yourself getting foul of the authorities in a tight race like this, which it most certainly is.
So is the new Audi by the look of it too.
Indeed, it can have a huge cost. I haven't actually seen Matteo Tuscia in action. Have you been tracing him?
Yeah, he ran earlier on. He certainly ran 2 or 3 stints during the evening. Yes.